What's going on YouTube? Mr. Smith 26 back again with another video. This time, confirmation of online team play in Madden NFL 18 through a new mode called MUT Squads. If you saw my last video, you know that I was completely amped up this morning regarding team play. And then they confirm it in a blog today. It's not even noon. And I mean, I've just been going nuts all morning. I'm so pumped up, ready to go. I can't wait for Madden 18 to be here. I can't even wait until June 10th, just when they show stuff regarding team play. And they've actually said that at the EA Play on June 10th, it's going to be playable. So we're going to get a lot more information by then. Probably a couple video clips here and there. So I cannot wait for that. So what I'm going to do is, instead of reading this blog for you guys, I know some of you don't go on Twitter, or you might not have seen this yet. You're just basically a YouTube person. I'm going to give you the opportunity here to just pause the video, read the blog for yourself, and then we're going to continue, okay? So read it at your own pace. Go ahead, pause the video. We'll resume in 2 seconds. Okay, so now that you've unpaused, go ahead and pause one more time and read at your own pace. And now again, read at your own pace. And then again, read at your own pace. And then we'll finish the blog off. Okay, so for me personally, a team play guy through and through. I mean through and through. I live, breathe, eat, sleep, team play forever. Always have. Back in the day, competitive guys that played for money, I would scratch and claw at them to try to get them to play team play. And they were so busy worrying about the competitive scene and tournaments and stuff, they were just like, team play, big deal. Well, now that's no longer going to be the case, because everyone is going to be on team play. Everyone loves MUT, and they've incorporated into team play. I don't play MUT at all. Haven't, never have, don't care about any of that stuff. But guess what? They finally got me. They got me. These sons of bitches. They got me, man. I hated on MUT card modes for the longest time, and the only way they were really going to get me was force me to play it through the online team play. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't care about anything else. I am now a MUT guy. Team play is everything I've been waiting for ever since they took it out in Madden 25. I've gone 3 years without it, and all I've done is talk about it. So let's go over some of the things regarding team play in this blog, a couple points. So the first thing is that it appears you can no longer do 2v2. So for instance, a friend and I, when they when they had communities, him and I, we would just play 2 people, and we would take on 3 team squads, and we had fun just playing him and I. You know, it was especially a challenge against 3 users. That was a lot of fun to kind of see, okay, can we take on 3 guys and play? Now, if you get disconnected, it appears that it can still be 2 versus 3. But based on everything we've read here, you cannot start a match 2 versus 3. So it's going to find the people for you if you're short, at least to start the game. So that's a give and take. You know, I'm a little disappointed because options are always great. But then at the same time, you know, when we would go and we'd play team play, you know, me and my friend is, yes, we would get matched up against 3 people, but sometimes you just have one guy, just one lone guy out there trying to play team play by himself. And it was like, what are you doing? So it eliminates that. So I'm at least happy about that. It's kind of a give and take. So that's the first thing. Let's get into offensive captain. Now, this is the thing that I find really interesting, that they really nailed right on the head. So the offensive captain brings in all of its players from offense and special teams from that offensive captain's lineup in Madden Ultimate Team. So let's say I've got 2 friends. Friend number 1 has a great MUT team, but he's more stacked on defense than he is on offense. And for me, I've got better offensive guys. So right away we know I'm going to be the offensive captain because it's all strategy in a sense, right? Okay, so maybe he's the better quarterback even though he's got all these defensive players, but he's got all the defensive players. So I need him to bring those guys in. What matters more, him at quarterback or his stacked defensive squad? Right? Just right out of the gate, strategy all the way. So I love that. And then we've got the third friend who he doesn't even play MUT. He has no interest, but he wants to play, right? Or we need a third. Hey man, we need a third. I can't even tell you how many times I've been in that situation. Want to play team play with a friend, and it's like, oh man, I need a third. Well, now if that's ever the case, we don't have to find somebody that is like all dedicated to MUT and have like a six squad of any kind. He can just be a guy that we know that likes to play, and he doesn't have to have anything to do with MUT. As you can see here, he's just the head coach, the stadium, and the uniforms. We can easily hook somebody up with that, for their team. And it's easy. It's very, very cheap to do. So take no effort at all. Now, the offensive captain obviously brings in their offensive playbook, and they call every play on offense. When on offense, you control the QB at the start of every play, just like before. However, and this is a big one, they are not player locked onto the QB post snap. So if you call a run play and neither of the two human control players are on the halfback, then the player controlling the QB will immediately switch and become the ball carrier. That is huge. That is huge. It essentially makes it a 4-on-3 or a 2.5 or a 3.5 on 3 because, or a 4-on-4. However it is you want to look at it. Because what's happening now is before when you were the quarterback, you drop back. If you handed it off, then whoever was the running back, they did their thing and you sat there, you watched them run. Or you drop back to pass, you make the throw, and then that's it. You don't do anything else. You call the plays, you make the throws, you hand it off, that's it. But now, you can actually be two positions at once, which is huge. That makes it, so much strategy involved. Because your offensive captain now means more than ever. Because they're not just controlling one position. They're responsible for all the players on offense. They're responsible for the most important position on the field, which is quarterback, just like before. And now they're also responsible for the running back. In my opinion, anybody that is going to really want to have that competitive advantage is going to make sure that the quarterback is also a good runner that can just basically take advantage of all three of those things. If I'm playing with two other people, I'm never going to be on the running back if we've got we're both going to be on receiver. That's just maximizing your potential. So to me, that's big. That is definitely big. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but it's huge. They control all the audibles and adjustments on offense, which is great because back in the past, it was actually different on consoles. On Xbox One, there was an issue where, I think it was Xbox One, where the receivers had to call hot routes even if the guy was the QB, was captain. It was really weird, but I'm just glad that the quarterback makes all the adjustments now. That's definitely a big thing. Now, for the offensive captain, when on defense, they can control any of the 11 players on the field not controlled by another user player. Huge. Huge. Let's just say we want run support and we need two guys on the safety. The awareness of having two guys on the safety coming down to the line of scrimmage, being able to make plays on a ball carrier, two guys in the secondary to essentially take away each side of the field, or two guys on a linebacker. In the past, you always had to have somebody on the defensive line. That is no longer the case. Based on everything in the blog, you never have to have anybody on the defensive line. That is huge because, you could choose in unranked modes, like before the communities, you could choose any, right? Which basically allowed 3 linebackers if you wanted, 3 guys in the secondary if you wanted. But when it came to playing ranked games, and I knew that this was going to happen, is if it came to ranked games, you were going to be locked into a certain position. And, you basically have to have somebody on the D line. And that kind of sucks, right? Because you're really taking away the talent. So now, all three guys can be anybody that they want. There's no locking into only linebackers, defensive line, or secondary. So that's huge. Now, defensive captain brings all the guys from their defensive lineup, as we talked about. They call the plays on defense. They bring in the defensive playbook. They can control any of the 11 players. There's no locking into anyone. They control all audibles and adjustments on defense. Now, this is big. This is huge. Now, if I'm reading this right and understanding it right, back in team play before, even if you weren't the captain, okay, you could change your zone. You could change your blitz angle. You could do whatever it was you were on defense. If I'm controlling the safety and I want to put him in a QB spy to run around faster like you could back then I would just do that and run. If I wanted to put him in a hard flat and get a little bit of a jump on the ball down at the line of scrimmage, then I could just put him in a flat whenever I wanted to. But now, this really, really, really goes with communication, because if this is true, how I'm reading it, and you cannot, let's say I'm quarterback or head coach, if the defensive captain has to make every adjustment, communication has to be at an all-time high, because they have to understand what zone it is that you want to be in. The more you play with each other, the more they're going to know these things, just offhand anytime they pick a certain play. So to me, that's huge. And I like that. I know that I'm going to jump into a game and I'm going to be annoyed that I can't change my defensive zone to whatever it is that I want. But at the same time, I love team play because of the fact that you do have to play as a team. That's such a huge deal. I used to play team play back in the day with people that high-level players. We'd play money games and stuff like that. And they were amazing one-on-one. But, oh my God, were they bad at team play. No communication skills. They thought they could just do everything. They didn't know they didn't understand. They just didn't understand. So this is going to bring out a whole new breed of people. There's people waiting on the sidelines right now that don't play any competitive modes, but they are beasts at team play. I promise you, this is going to open up, not just because now you need 3 players per team, but just the fact that there's people out there that are going to excel in communication. Call of Duty players that have a lot of stick, that they understand how to communicate, where you are on a map, all these types of things. All these people are going to come out of the woodwork, and I think a lot of the competitive players are really going to have a tough time. They're going to be like, damn, how are they so good? Well, the reason they're so good is because they're not just relying on taking advantage of, say a gun bunch or whatever. I'm not dissing Skimbo, but let's just say a gun bunch or anything like that. They know how to communicate. They know how to play the game as a team. That's huge. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to eat. I want to play, but even just to be on the sidelines and watch how everything unfolds on Twitch now. Everyone's going to be streaming team play games. It's going to be a lot of fun to follow along, man. I don't know. I might not have a life. I might be playing team play or watching team play. I might not do anything. I might quit my job. I might just play team play. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't wait. I mean, the smile on my face right now is huge. So now we're going to go into the head coach. They bring in the head coach, the stadium, the uniforms. They call timeouts and they determine the results of penalties. So they pick accept or decline. When on offense, they can use or control anybody but the QB. So to me, it's going to be a tight end or wide receiver because, again, if you're being smart about it, there's absolutely no way that you should have anybody locked into the running back when the quarterback can take control of the running back. It just makes no sense. When on defense, they can control any of the 11 players. So imagine 3 guys at linebacker. That's never been able to be the case before if you're playing the ranked or competitive mode. And there was a league back in the day called VFL, and it was a huge league back in Madden 11 and beyond. I was in it. A bunch of other big guys were in it, like Too Tenacious. Some really good players were in that league. And the rule for that league was you had to be locked into a position. That's how competitive worked. So now, that's not the case. EA has basically set the precedent and said, you know what? No more of that. So I don't imagine. I mean, there's nothing that they can do now, even if there's a VFL league, which there is actually going to be. You can't lock into players. So now it's just a free-for-all on defense, which I love. I do love that, just because I like defense, and I think that's really going to make the game defensive. All 3 defensive backs, all 3 linebackers, maybe just everybody on the defensive line getting a push. Who knows how the mechanics work for that, right? Maybe it's a QB sneak. You get all 3 guys on the defensive line getting a certain push. I mean, God, I love this. I love this so much. Oh my God. You guys know I'm in my mid-40s. I live for Madden, man. Madden is life. I just love it. Madden, music, my girlfriend, my dog. That's it. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. Haven't been a fan of Madden the past couple of years, but I got to tell you, man, this is going to make up for it big time. Big time. So, I'm not really sure what else to get into other than the fact that they are going to have an AMA, which is Ask Me Anything. Basically, it's a Q&A at 4 p.m. Eastern on June 2nd. So this is going to focus on MUT squads, and it's going to be an opportunity to clear up any questions. So definitely check that out. I know I'm going to be there asking. I got a ton of questions. Like, are we going to be able to tell who our opponent is using on the play? Because back in the day, if you hold right trigger, you could basically see, because the name would disappear, who they were using. And then you'd kind of switch back and forth between guys, and it was just a cat and mouse game. Personally, I prefer the idea that you can't tell. You got to guess. Now, obviously on defense with guys moving around and stuff, you're going to run in circles, you're going to run, kind of step back and forth. Obviously, it's easy to tell. But I would like it. I'm okay either way, but I would like it if there's no indicators at all. I was hoping that they would have some sort of ability to resume the game if you get disconnected. That's not the case. Disconnection is going to make or break this mode. Let's be honest. As great as the mode is, Madden 25's biggest downfall was the fact that there were so many disconnections. But obviously connections are much, much better now. I didn't have any lag at all this year. So I don't want to go over too much stuff and make this video super, super long. I already do that enough as it is. We're definitely going to be doing more videos. I'm going to be talking about more stuff the more that time goes on. So do me a favor. Let's just say that you can't make the AMA. Can you please post in the comments section, if you've made it this far through the video, and let me know what questions do you have. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of those best questions and I'm going to ask Jake Stein personally about those things when the AMA comes up. A lot of different ideas that people have in their head. And it's maybe, who knows, maybe it's not too late for them to add some of this stuff. I'm sure, they're still working on stuff. Some of it might be too complicated to add. Maybe some of it they can do no problem before the game comes out. There's still a few months to go. So ask your questions, post your ideas. I'm going to get it to Jake and Rex. Rex is the man. Rex is the man. That's all that needs to be said. So let me think here. Is there anything else before I turn off this video that I need to say? I don't think so. Who are the squads? That's the biggest thing. I feel like I'm going to be the biggest team play whore in the world. Because I'm an older guy, right? And a lot of these young guys, they're going to want to team up with other young guys. Just like I said in the last video. They're all going to want to be like trying to, especially if there's money on the line, they're going to want to put together the best squad. I'm going to be on the sidelines. People are not going to have faith in me, even though they're wrong, because I'm an animal when it comes to team play. But that's okay. I'm going to go around, probably play on a bunch of different teams, be the third wheel for a lot of these competitive guys. I'm just going to be all over the place. But It's going to be a lot of fun to do something like the old man squad. I've already got a couple guys on Twitter where we're like, yeah, we're definitely going to play a guy in his 50s, another guy in his 40s. Let's see how we do. It's all about the communication. Oh, I can't wait. Let's go. I'll see you guys very, very soon.